You got hit. You're on mute. Senator Markey, you're on mute. You're still on mute. You can't hear anything. You maybe better talk to Senator Klobuchar. Oh, there you are. You were there good for a second. Try again. You were there for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. You're loud and clear now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Our witnesses today have done a very effective job in demonstrating that artificial intelligence poses serious new risks for fraud and scams across different sectors, from AI voice cloning tools to deepfake images and videos. AI is threatening to undermine our ability to tell truth from falsity, to sow distrust in our understanding of reality itself. These scams and frauds will affect all Americans, but if history is any guide, marginalized communities are likely to be the greatest targets. Mr. Brookman, in your written testimony, you discuss a recent report by Consumer Reports that found Black and Hispanic Americans were more impacted by digital attacks and scams. Can you elaborate on your research?
Yeah, so this is like a report that we do every year to kind of track how people are adopting cybersecurity techniques. They're using sophisticated passwords. This is the first year we asked about scams. Have you encountered scams? Have you been someone attempted a scam? Like at least half the people had, and those who had, I think overall about 10% of people, the respondents to our nationally representative sample, said they had lost money in a scam. And the percentages, I can get them for you, but I believe it was like twice as much for Black and Hispanic people. Of those who encountered scams, I think like a third of Black consumers and a third of Hispanic consumers had lost money, and I think it was like about half of that for white Americans. This is consistent with the research the Federal Trade Commission has done. The Federal Trade Commission has done a couple of reports looking at similar issues, also found that. So I know we've talked a lot about this hearing about the need to educate senior citizens and maybe military families as well, and I strongly agree with that. But we also probably need to reach out to marginalized communities too, because that's where the money is. That's where people are losing money, to make sure they're educated and prepared for this new wave of AI-powered scams.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you for your great work, because these issues now are well documented. In fact, in 2021, both AARP and the Federal Trade Commission published reports that determined that Black and Latino adults were more likely to be targeted by scammers and by fraudsters. As artificial intelligence gives these bad actors new tools to target the public, communities of color will inevitably be the most impacted. So, Mr. Brookman, do you agree that AI-enabled frauds and scams will have a disproportionate impact on marginalized communities?
Yeah, I think the evidence so far indicates that. The traditional scams are more likely, and so I think for AI-powered scams as well, it seems perfectly logical. Yes.
Yeah, so I agree, because any effort to address AI-enabled fraud and scams must be given special attention to the unique harms that are facing those populations. And as we discuss AI's impact on marginalized communities, we must also remember that AI-powered algorithms can supercharge pre-existing bias and discrimination. For example, a 2019 report found that due to biased mortgage approval algorithms, lenders were 80% more likely to reject Black applicants than similar white applicants. On another occasion, a major tech company found that its AI resume screening tools penalized resumes that included the words women's and recommended male applicants for jobs at much higher rates than similar female applicants. That's unacceptable. We cannot let AI stand for accelerating inequality. And it's why in September, I introduced the AI Civil Rights Act, which would ensure that companies review and eliminate bias in their algorithms and put Americans back in control of key decisions in their lives. Mr. Brookman, do you agree that Congress should pass my AI Civil Rights Act?
Yes, I definitely agree that algorithmic harms from bias from existing inequalities is something that needs to be addressed. Dr. Fareed testified about that earlier. We've also supported legislation in law in Colorado, the first law in the country to address that. But yes, the federal government should do it, and we have endorsed your bill on this issue specifically.
And I appreciate that. We shouldn't just leave it to the individuals to figure out how to protect themselves. We have to take action against the companies that set up these algorithms. So as Congress considers AI legislation, we just can't ignore how those algorithms will impact marginalized communities. And that's why we have to pass my AI Civil Rights Act. And all of this, requires that consumers be able to authenticate the digital content, and we need to put those protections in place. So I thank all of you for everything that you are doing to help to inform the public about these very important issues.
Thank you, Senator Markey. And before closing, I think we're out of senators.